for Disney's warning that John Carter will lose more than $200 million. A 3D film about a Civil War veteran transported to Mars. Well, apparently it's not a winning formula for today's cinema connoisseurs. And Disney's film division is now reporting a second quarter operating loss, taking a charge against earnings of up to $120 million. Paul de Garbadian is the president of the Hollywood.com's box office division. Paul joins me now from Los Angeles. Is this a real loss? Or is this, once again, Hollywood funny financing where nobody really loses, except maybe the shareholders?
Well, that's a really good question. I think a lot of this is hype. I mean, surrounding this movie, before it opened, all anyone talked about was the $250 million budget, and that's not really what you want to focus on when a movie's about to open. And the film only opened with $30.6 million in North America, and around 79 million worldwide when it opened. So it wasn't a big number for a film that cost this much. But Disney's a big enough company that they can absorb a loss like this. But I think it just hurts the credibility of the, the financiers and people who put that kind of money into this big of a movie that wasn't even going to be released in the summer, which is the time when you would release a big budget blockbuster. It just didn't work.
Okay, now, but to anybody else, I mean, from those times when I have looked at film financing stories, there's always some people that manage to make money out of the film. Those who take the money off the top, those who skim it in the middle, and it's usually the investor at the bottom who sort of loses out. Disney is going to lose out heavily on this. True.
Yeah, it's, if you think about it, $250 million, that was just the production cost, Richard. That wasn't even including the marketing and advertising, which probably was another $125 million. So for a film like that, you really have to make a lot of money at the box office, because remember, half of that money goes to the theaters and half goes back to Disney. That doesn't leave a lot on the table. Now, of course, VOD and future broadcast rights and that kind of thing could bring in additional dollars, but a strong initial box office is needed to make those ancillary markets strong. And this isn't a movie that's going to play that well in secondary markets.
So, Paul, finally, what is the moral of the tale? I mean, we're going to show in a second or two other great movie flops that were very expensive, but what for you is the moral of this tale? Is it hubris?
Well, a little bit of it is. I think the real moral of the story is don't spend that kind of money on a movie unless you really believe you're going to make $1 billion worldwide. You don't want to spend $250 million on a film, and if you are, you better split that risk with another company so you don't take such a big write-down when it doesn't work.